Hello.
Okay, so we are live.
All right. We are live and we are back on
Yes,
this
we
beautiful evening.
are. You getting snow in Brooklyn?
I'm not in Brooklyn. I'm in Virginia.
Oh, that's right. You're in
Yeah.
Virginia.
Yeah. And we had snow earlier, but it just stuck to the grass. But there's more to come from what I understand.
Mhm.
So I've heard that there's going to be a lot of snow in New York. So, hoo.
Yes, and they're changing it by the second.
Ah,
Schools are already closing.
yeah, yeah. Wow.
Yes, I was supposed to be at two schools tomorrow, and they're already closed.
Wow.
So now I have to reschedule them. Don't ask me how, because I haven't figured it out yet.
Well, you will. You will. There's
Yes, I will.
there's more
All
time.
right, so I'm going to give it a few minutes, a
Yeah,
few
let's give it a
seconds.
couple minutes while we're waiting for others to join us.
Now, is the weather going to get in the way of you getting home?
Probably not. I will probably come home on Friday, so it'll be a little easier to maneuver.
Okay, you know what I just noticed? I have to fix my privacy.
Ah, yes.
Here we go. Okay. So Virginia got snow today?
Yeah, just a dusting. Just a
And when do
dusting.
you head home?
Probably Friday.
Friday, okay.
Yeah, that way I avoid all of the crazy stuff. So
Okay, good. So the roads will be clear. Shouldn't have a problem.
yeah, that's the plan, especially since I have tennis shoes. and, uh, I didn't bring my boots this time around, so
Oh
oh
boy.
yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you'll be on pavement.
Yes, I'll be fine.
All right.
Okay, so today we are talking about our inner circle. Let's
Yes.
see. I I am getting in as we speak.
Okay. So we can get started, I guess?
Yeah.
All right. So the law of the inner circle is in the 21 laws. So it's definitely one of the laws for leadership.
Uh huh. And I
So
see
do
us.
you want to start?
We are definitely live. And uh, well, I wanted to talk about my experience with an inner circle and how important it is to have a group of people. And it can be my experience right now is I'm working with a specific group of women, uh, and also with you that I consider to
Mm-hmm.
be part of my inner circle. And it's something that I had not considered uh, before. I'd say 3 or 4 years ago. I
Mm-hmm.
I thought that your inner circle was the same as friends, and it is for me slightly different. It is a group of women that are like-minded, which is not to say my friends are not. That's not what I'm saying, but are also looking to grow personally and in ways similar to what I'm working to do.
Mm-hmm.
We're reading similar things. We're having similar conversations. We're looking to grow businesses, looking to advance in many ways. And the thing is, we're listening to each other, coaching each other, and we have each other's backs.
Yeah.
There's no competition. I have never had a sense that I was being judged.
Mm.
I'm heard and I am helped by this group.
Mm.
And it has been such a pleasure for me to be a part of it. And it's been a pleasure for me not only to receive but to give and help
Yeah.
them, and in the process learn more about myself and my own gifts and my own capabilities. It's been a wonderful exploration, and it continues. Oh gosh, I think we are on our third year now, and it continues. And the great thing about it, very easily. So it's just like when the two of us met. We
Mhm.
recognized that we were two people who could work together and work together very well. So
Yes.
I like that.
Yes. Now
I
your group is all women?
My group is all women. Yes,
Hmm.
it's all women, and it was intentionally set up that way to be
Did you
two.
set it up?
No, it was. We were all part of an organization called Empowering Women, and
Oh.
uh, and we met after a conference. We didn't all meet at the conference. Or I'm sorry, not Empowering Women, Emerging Women. Me and my words. Emerging Women, and we met after the conference, and they had actually a project to set up women, to set up these groups, and we all found each other through this process, and we all still
That's great.
have had the best experience. But it's important to be able to share. And then one of the things I remember reading in one of Brene Brown's book is, and I think it was Daring Greatly, is people who are in your inner circle have to earn the right to be there, because you
Mm.
have to be able to be transparent and you have to trust them. And if you find you're in a situation where you've got someone who's not guarding who's not keeping confidences and not guarding your privacy and theirs, they're not earning the right to have access to your information. Just not.
Yeah. Now, you said you didn't do this until few years ago.
Hmm.
So what happened in your life that drew you to this inner circle?
You know what? I
Those
didn't
of you
even.
that are just
Hello.
we're talking tonight about being strategic with your inner circle.
I did not. And hello, everyone. I did not know I even needed an inner circle. I, you know, I, I just one day realized that I wanted to have access. I had a coach, and I wanted access to people who were, or at least one other person that I could talk to, just to share what was happening, and also not just someone that I was paying, but someone who I would have a friendly relationship with. And to be honest, when we started, I didn't know exactly what it was going to be. I thought
Mm.
that it was going to be a business mastermind at first. So, I'm worried about, do I have a business plan, and all of these things. And to get there and start talking about me and the work that I need to do, for personal growth, and find that it is as much focused on business growth as it is personal growth, or even more so on the personal
Yeah.
growth side, was a relief, actually, because it was focused on what I needed most at the time.
Mhm.
So yeah, like I said, I didn't even realize that this was what I needed at first,
Yeah.
and so glad that and I'm so glad I met these women, and I
Mm.
can always, I mean, I know that they're a group. I don't see them as often, but I can always contact them and count on them for
Yeah.
feedback and to listen.
And
Oh,
it it's different. Am I going
you,
in?
yeah, you're bouncing a little bit,
Yeah, I don't know what's going.
and
I'm
now you're,
freezing on there. Uh,
yeah,
what I was saying was it's not like friendship,
yes.
right? So Donna commented,
Hi, Donna.
like-minded women empower and
I agree. I
yeah.
agree, and it's and it's important that we have a place where we can come together and share. And and not in a competitive sense. And
Right.
and it's just it is it's enriching, and it's for me it's fortifying to know that I do have people out there who have my back and who care about my growth and my development as much
Hmm.
as I care about theirs. Now
And
what?
that's the thing. I didn't know about an inner circle
Uh huh.
until I became when I was at the John Maxwell training,
Hmm.
and he talked about the law of the inner circle. I'm wondering if I should. Is this my connection? Okay.
Well,
Well, when
I can hear
he
you.
talked about the law of the inner circle,
Hmm.
and if you, I was like, the inner circle. I thought everybody was in my inner circle because that's who I am.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know, I love people. I'm curious about people, and I thought everybody was in my inner circle. And you know, when you look at celebrities and athletes, it's like they're going in and out. It seems like they're on fire,
Uh huh.
having a real rush, and then they fade away,
Hmm.
right? And very often it comes down to who they're spending their time with. You know,
Yes.
they're not reaching their greatest potential
Yes.
with the people that they're with.
Yes.
So being strategic about the inner circle
Hmm.
is going to matter with your growth.
Yes. Absolutely.
And that's what I was missing.
Hmm.
I wasn't looking out for me.
And and it goes back to something I just thought of something my mother used to say. One of those little sayings that my mother would have, and she'd say, "Birds of a feather flock together."
Mm.
And and here I am, or I was in a state where I knew I needed personal growth. I knew I needed to grow. I knew I was at a point where I was asking, about life. Is this really seriously? Is this all there is? And I needed to do work on myself too. And I was becoming much more introspective, and to find other people who were willing to be vulnerable and say, I need help with this, I need help with that. That was that was just one of the best things I could have ever done. I mean, it was a gift. It was a gift to me to find people like that. So yeah.
Right. Honesty.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what are some of the things that you look for now in inner circle members?
Mm. I used to be like the one that would always want to help everybody out,
Mm-hmm.
and I still am. But now when I'm looking at my inner circle, I want people different than me
Mm-hmm.
in it. So I'm looking to learn. So I'm looking to learn from people that have different things than I do.
Mm-hmm.
I've weeded out toxic people,
Oh yeah.
negative pathways.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at things, I see the positive right away.
Mm-hmm.
My brain is trained.
Mm-hmm.
My brain sees it, it pops out at me. So when I'm with people that see the negative right away,
Mm-hmm. Nope.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a tough one. That is a tough one because you'll find all of a sudden you become more sensitive to conversations. People that you're used to talking to, all of a sudden you hear things differently. And
yes,
it's very helpful to me. You given that, and for you too, that we manage people. And in our jobs, we lead people in our jobs, and it helps us to be able to encourage them to work to the next level when we're able to lead with the positive
mm-hmm.
instead of the negative. I mean, even if they have to be coached or corrected, there is a way to do it that leaves the person intact so that they can continue to grow.
Yeah,
So it's been, just like I said, the inner circle experience has been wonderful for me, and it's wonderful to continue to meet new people. And I know that it's not always going to be the same 4 or 5 people for the till the end of time. But there are new people who come in, and it's just it's wonderful.
yeah. And then for you to be able to contribute to your inner circle,
Hmm.
at least for me, I feel like I have to keep growing. I have to keep growing myself
Yes,
so I can add to the inner circle.
I agree.
So it's about what you give.
It absolutely is. It is. It's not just receiving; it's being able to give something substantive to them. And
Yeah,
yeah, it is. And in the John Maxwell experience, I mean, you and I both have talked about this. It's just been. I don't even know the word. It's been a blessing.
yeah,
I've loved it, and I've loved meeting people, and not everyone I meet who's in John Maxwell is part of my inner circle, but
right.
you are.
And you are
and,
for me. But I just
but
got back from Costa Rica,
yes,
right?
yes, you
So
did.
there were 250 John Maxwell coaches there.
Oh wow,
It was electric.
yes,
It was an experience I can't even put into words.
yes.
We were exhausted. We were going
Hmm.
out 3 times a day, training after training after training. We were greeted by the president of Congress.
Yes.
We were in their police, their businesses, their religion, their
Hmm.
government, every aspect you can imagine,
And their schools.
and their schools.
Yes.
And Costa Rica is a place that's ready for transformation.
Oh,
They're ready
wonderful.
for it. They want it.
Yes.
And they gave up their military in 1948. They
Uh huh.
dismantled. And they took all of the money that they would spend in military and they put it into education.
Mm.
They wanted to be the educated country in Central America.
Wow.
And their people are warm
Hmm.
and they just were so ready. They were so excited. We were going down the highway and we saw billboards that said John Maxwell team coming. It
Wow.
was amazing.
Wow.
So talk about an inner circle.
Yes.
Now, they're not all in my inner circle, but when you're in a room with that many people
Mm,
with the same amount of energy,
mm.
it's my adrenaline was constant.
Oh, now we've got a note here from
Yes, we did.
Christine.
Oh, Christine. About Chris, I have to tell everybody about Christine.
Okay.
So she works with me,
Uh-huh.
and Christine does what I do. We go into schools, community centers, faculties, and we do trainings on crisis situations.
Yes.
So Christine is amazing. She's got a heart, huge. And what does she say to me? Because yeah. And I see that about Christine. She be the, she's
Oh.
the giver.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And inner circles are about giving, but they're also about taking.
Yes. Yes.
And I think we have that kind of relationship, Christine. I think we learn from each other. And that's what I always want to be around. I wouldn't want to work with somebody that I can't learn from.
Right. Right.
What do you think about the workplace with an inner circle? Do you have a separate inner circle for work?
I well, actually, when you asked that question, it reminded me of something because there was a young woman that I met at a conference, at a work conference, who we were talking about power circle, and she talked about the need for an inner circle. I believe that you should have someone or someone's
Mm-hmm.
in your work environment that you can share with. You have to be very judicious in your selection of people, but I do believe that that's something that's needed. We do in my company, we do annually something called an engagement survey, and to the engagement gauge the engagement of the employees. And one of the questions that we used to have, excuse me, was a question that asked, "Do you have a best friend at work?" And people, you know, everyone used to make fun of this question, or people misunderstood it, and they thought it was, are you asking if my BFF works here? Well, that's not it. That's not it. It's asking, the question was, do you have an inner circle? Do you have someone that you can trust? Do you have someone that you can confide in, and who can that you can help them and they can help you? That
Mm-hmm.
was the question, and a lot of people don't say yes to that,
Mm-hmm.
and I think in order for me to do well and to do better, I need a mentor, or I need an inner circle, or I need that confidant that I can work with. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
The work I do is
Mhm.
out in the field a lot.
Mhm.
So I'm not in the office very much. So Christine and I, we have this synergy and we feed off each other and we both have similar goals in the respect that we want to help people.
Mhm.
That's our mission. We
Mhm.
have no agenda other than that.
Mhm.
So I do feel I have that with her.
Uh huh.
but maybe not so much a group at work because I'm not in the office enough.
Right. Well, it's
Go ahead.
flexible to meet your needs. You know, it has
Yes,
to be what you need.
right. And I think as long as we have somebody in that group,
Mm-hmm.
it does serve needs.
Mm-hmm.
But strategic inner circles, let's talk about what do they look like? So, in my opinion, for me, a strategic inner circle has people that do things differently than I do.
Mm-hmm.
I never want to be, I don't know how to say it, but like the person at the top.
Mm-hmm.
I always want there to be somebody else or a few people that are ahead of me
Mm-hmm.
in a big way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people honestly underestimate how much they can offer to somebody's life,
Yes.
how much they can impact someone's life.
I agree. I
Donna,
agree.
but she sometimes thinks that other people bring more to the table than she does. But we could learn from her. I learned from her. So I think we underestimate what we offer.
I have been in that position. I think I mentioned, you know, even mentoring, having those moments where, you know, I had a protege, and I thought, what, and it was he was matched to me, and I remember thinking, what on earth do I have to say to him to help him? And because, you know, I thought that, but one of the things he said during our conversation was where he felt he needed support was developing leadership skills. And, you know, when he said that, I'm like, oh, well, I can do that.
Yes.
That I can do.
Right.
So, and I think it's natural sometimes for us to have those initial moments of doubt, but we don't have to stay there. We don't
Mm-hmm.
have to stay in that moment, and we do have something to offer. But you were talking about continuing to change and develop, and that's one of the things for me is I want to become sharper. And we talk about iron sharpening iron, and I want to become sharper. But there are things that I have to do. I have to continue to educate myself. I have to continue to prepare myself and learn so that I'm taking in something that I can actually pour out. I,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that's what I want to contribute to the group is that and you know, I forgot to mention this. I heard about John Maxwell through my group, through the ladies group.
Oh.
I happened to say something one day, and one of the other ladies in the group said, "You know, have you ever heard of John Maxwell? Because he says something like that." I said, "No, I didn't. I didn't know." She's like, "You need to check him out. I think you would really, yeah." And I think immediately I forgot until all of a sudden, you know, his name just kept popping up and popping up, and I thought, well, yeah, let me check out this John Maxwell guy.
Wow.
And I wanted speaker training, and he came up again, and that's how I became connected. But the first I heard of it, him, his organization is writing, particularly the 21 Laws was a
Mm.
book that she referenced, was in that group. So you know, it's wonderful. It's wonderful that we're able to talk about them.
Yeah. And those of you that are just signing on, this is the book. So the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And there's a whole chapter in here on the law of the inner circle. That's how important this is. and that most people are not strategic. They have an inner circle by default.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever is around me
Mm-hmm.
is my inner circle.
That's right. You have to be strategic. You have to be.
Yeah, if you're looking to grow, you have to be strategic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Christine, thank you.
Oh, that's
I
very
too.
nice. And that's true.
Yeah.
So giving and selfless. Absolutely true.
Well, we share a mission, and that's why it helps to have people like that
Mm-hmm.
around you,
Mm-hmm.
because they support you. So if you're out there and you're working hard and you are giving your all and nobody recognizes it
Mm-hmm.
and nobody supports you and nobody's saying, wow, thank you, or I see that, some people don't keep going like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to remain engaged in an environment like that. And you want to have what you need to keep you engaged.
Yeah. So I guess our question is, what does your inner circle look like?
Yes.
Where do you fit in your inner circle?
Yes.
What do you give and what do you get from your inner circle?
Those are all great questions that people should consider, now and throughout the week. And and the great thing about this life is if you see something like that and you want it to change it.
Oh, absolutely.
Change it. You want a different inner circle?
I did it.
Change that. Make it happen.
I changed mine.
Mm-hmm.
When they did that lesson, if anybody saw my face, I was like this.
Really?
I'm doing it all wrong. How am I growing? But truth is that when I made some alterations,
Yes.
my growth started to stop.
Yes.
And that's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the difference.
I
So what are we
understand
going
and
to
agree.
ask people to do?
Well, you just laid out a couple of questions that they need to consider. What does your who is in your inner circle? Or no, I guess the first question should be, do you have an inner circle? Who is in number two? Who is in your inner circle? And number three, are should they be in your inner circle? Are these the people who are going to help you grow and who you can help grow? Or and you have to be strategic about it. It's not just a matter, like you said, it's not just by default.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just by saying, I've been talking. These have been my friends for the last 20 years, and yeah, then you need to look again at what we mean by inner circle. We're not just talking about friendships. We're
You
talking.
have friendships,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
So I try to teach this to young people when they say, well, I talked to a friend. There's the world,
Hmm.
then there's our acquaintances,
Hmm.
we have our friends,
Hmm.
and then there's this itty bitty circle,
Yes.
and people are, right? And strategic about creating an inner circle,
Hmm.
or is it created by default? Because it will affect your growth.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So it's 7:34.
Ah, yes.
Trying to value time
Yes.
because Rhea and I are trying to do a half an hour, 30 minutes
30 minutes.
devoted to your growth.
That's right. Tuning in
Who could
every
pass that
Tuesday.
up?
Every Tuesday. for tuning
Every
in.
Tuesday.
Tuning
It
in
might
to
be
help
different
you.
times.
It might be. We may have some fluctuations in the times. We do not plan to go earlier, but we may need to go a little later due to some schedule challenges. But
Yeah.
that's good. I mean, our plan is to be able to see. Okay, Janet says I
Yeah.
have a toxic person in my inner circle. Everything else I'm constant with.
Constant,
Yes,
maybe.
I understand what you both are saying. Thank you. Well, it's there's a way to be able to. You can make that change, Janet. You can make that change.
It's hard because we get used to toxic people.
Yeah.
We get used to them and we might feel for them,
Mhm.
but if you're looking for growth, they're not going to help you to do that.
You got to change. And you know that. And something else I want to say too. I know we've run over time. We live in a world now where toxicity is almost applauded. You know,
Mm,
there are it's celebrated. This whole idea of people being petty, celebrating pettiness. Isn't this funny? And it's your inner circle is yours. You have ownership of that, just like you have have ownership over your own choices. And you have to choose what you want to get, and then what supports that. So if you want growth, it's the
mhm.
inner circle. Your inner circle can support that, but you have to make sure that it's strategic and it's the right growth.
Right. And it's similar in anything you want.
Oh, you froze.
Did my sound go out?
Yeah, it says it's similar in anything you want, and then
Anything you want in life.
yes.
If you want to lose weight, you have to put
Mm-hmm.
together a plan to do it. If you want to play a sport,
Yes,
you have to put together a growth plan.
yes,
You have to get in shape, all of those things. The same thing with an.
yes.
So thank you, Jan. I will message you. I did have a book that I wrote a chapter in, and it's on hope.
Yes. And I
And
read
so
it,
thank you, Janet.
and I bought
I
it,
will.
and I read it, and I bought mine on Amazon.com. Okay.
You read it already?
Yes. I read your chapter.
Ooh,
I read your chapter. I read yours and one other chapter, and I'll read it again when I get home.
okay. And it'll be interesting, Janet, because Janet comes from my hometown.
Ah, okay.
So she knows a little bit about my family.
Yes.
So she would be able to relate.
Yes.
But the book has 14 authors that all wrote about how hope played a role in their life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very interesting. But we hope you all have a fantastic, ridiculously amazing.
Ridiculously amazing.
Yes. I don't know why my sound is like this, but I'm sorry.
Well, we know what you're saying. Have a
Okay.
ridiculously amazing week. We thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Bye, Rhea.
All right, bye.
Thanks, everyone.
You already done with your